Today we have the Core Fusion 7 for you in our test. Yes, we're already talking about the 7th season, and the manufacturer has now geared the board even more towards performance. In other words, big air is being emphasized even further. With the model we tested in 139 by 42, we now have a rocker line of 5.1 centimeter. This has once again been cleverly chosen so that we have excellent acceleration and also a very early planing. All of this also results in a high top speed. When the rider's weighing from 70 to 100 kilos, you can expect good to very good planing performance. Since the Fusion is very nicely balanced, you don't need any special technique to be able to access this level of performance in that range. Even if you put a little too much weight on the front foot or the back foot, the planing performance always remains the same. We should say another word about speed. Here it's about how well this speed can actually be controlled. In this regard, the noticeably stiffer tuning compared to the previous model has made a real difference. And the 4.8 centimeter long fins also fit very well with the overall noticeably stiffer tuning. The multi-channeled underwater hull, in combination with the outline, which is designed to be somewhat straighter here, and also the larger fins, all contribute to very good upwind performance. It really is very easy to maintain a good upwind course here, and for that even a slight edging angle is enough. The tuning of the board is still middle loose when it comes to switching the board. You still need a moderate amount of force to turn the board under you. One advantage we've noticed here is that in the past, with the other models, we almost always noticed a slight loss of speed when switching. That is no longer the case now. The turning ability of the Fusion 7 is good to very good. It's important here, of course, to choose the right length for the right body weight. If you have a heavier rider, 90 to 100 kilos, the boards can handle tight turns with ease. For lighter body weights, 70 to 80 kilos, the turning radius is somewhat limited since the board doesn't have too much curvature in the tail and is also tuned to be stiffer. There is no loss of speed in the turns, and even though the boards are now noticeably tuned a bit stiffer, we don't have any compromise that would affect its smoothness. The board has a mid-flex, meaning it's a bit softer in the middle and gets stiffer towards the tips. Even for lighter riders here, 75 kilos, in slightly rougher water, it's very easy to control. We don't experience any catching of the fins. They run absolutely free and are optimally positioned. And also in terms of hull damping, that is the construction itself, it's been done very well. And in combination with the comfortable pads and straps from Core, you could even say it's a knee-friendly setup. The new construction, with its fully encapsulated core, has certainly further increased stability and brake resistance. But we also notice it has to be set at truly low weight. And you can really feel that when controlling the board, whether on the water or in the air, it makes a significant difference. Overall, it's always a very precisely controllable board, meaning the response is absolutely accurate. Whatever the rider does is executed exactly as intended, but there's still a slight margin for forgiveness. Taking off with the Fusion 7 is generally very easy, since it's simple to hold the edge here. And as mentioned at the beginning, we only need a slight edging angle to generate enough pull and pressure on the edge so that you can create a lot of line tension. For this to work optimally from a technical standpoint, it's important that the Fusion 7 is a board that requires an overall longer, straighter edging process, a short progressive edging. There are models that have a bit more curvature in the tips, so they're also a bit slimmer, which makes this easier. The Fusion 7, on the other hand, is more of a board that you edge straighter and a bit longer, so that you generate the load along the entire edge, of course a bit over the fin as well, but mostly over the edge, in order to achieve the greatest possible height, which works very well here. And let's take a look at the landing. Here, the slightly stronger rocker definitely pays off. And overall, as already mentioned regarding the smoothness, the construction has really good damping. Even during landings, including fast landings, we have good control through the fins, and the hull also absorbs harder impacts really well. And it really has to be said here that it is a very good compromise. So not just for the big air aspirant who wants to improve their skills here and wants to compete at the highest level, but also for the regular freerider who doesn't really face any major technical demands. And as I said, the pressure distribution between the front and back foot isn't irrelevant, but mistakes here aren't really severely punished. And even in unhooked freestyle, the Fusion 7 with its new tuning really performs very well. Here too we have a slightly longer, straighter edging process, not quite as progressive. However, for heavier riders it can also be ridden a bit more progressively, meaning with a tighter radius, because with the higher body weight even the stiff tuned tail bends a bit more. As a result, it goes with a tighter radius. Accordingly, you also get a bit more load here, meaning more pop. And even though the in-house choice handles this tailor knock freestyle part just a little bit better than the Fusion, the performance here is still really at a very high level. And when it comes to landings, it's actually a bit more secure as well. The control is taken over a bit more quickly here, especially thanks to the longer fins, which contribute their part to that. And what you used to have with older models of the Fusion was that if the rider was a bit heavier, sometimes the board slipped a little on landings here and there. But we didn't notice that this time. The Fusion originally started out as a really very forgiving all-round twin-tip board, which was especially tolerant of mistakes. Here and there, however, it may not have fully convinced some people in terms of performance. That has now changed, with the trend towards big air and high-performance freeride, higher jumps, and simply even more riding performance. And in all areas, the Fusion 7 proves to be really well positioned here, and since it is also very easy to ride, we naturally have some internal overlap with the era and the choice. That overlap is actually quite significant, which is why the overall package you get here with the Fusion 7 is certainly the largest in the range. They've really pulled off something great here. Starting from beginners, from 80 kilos and up, all the way to big air professionals and fans of freeride high performance boards, this is really a fantastic option.